I'm just drifting here, look. That's the Llangower beach, and I was just going to go a little bit closer to shore, but the kids were a little bit noisy, as children are. So I came a little bit further out. Now, what I wanted to do was some anchoring. So look, we've got 2 anchors I brought. So this one came with my sea hopper, and it's like, I think they would call this a Bruce or claw anchor. I think they call it a claw nowadays, simply because I don't think Bruce anchors are made. I think that's you know, it's like a Bruce copy. It's got a little bit of chain and a little bit of rope, or road, should we say, call it. I'm just keeping the boat motoring, actually, just to keep the nose into the wind. So this one is one of these kind of hinged affairs. This one is good for mud and silt, I believe, and sand. This one is kind of an all-rounder. The claw anchor's supposed to set quite quickly, but doesn't have perhaps the holding power of a lot of anchors. This one is supposed to just be good in sand. It's supposed to be very good in sand and mud, but not much else. So I think we know the bottom of this lake is just rocks, very smooth, round, pebbly rocks. So I think it'll be interesting to see if they work. Now, I've motored so far out that I don't know if we'd have enough line here to anchor properly. So I'm going to let the boat drift in a little bit, and then what we'll do, we'll set the anchor. Now, it's tricky the way we do the anchoring. We can anchor off the stern, and I think we'll do that first, because it's going to be so much easier to anchor off the stern. And like I say, it doesn't really matter. We're not bothered about comfort, or we just want to stop the boat. Now, the other thing we need to consider is this is a lee shore, so the wind is blowing into the shore, so they call it a leeward shore. So we want to stop ourselves from being pushed onto the shore with the anchor. So what we'll do, we'll start with the claw. We'll connect the claw anchor up onto the back here, and then we'll see what happens. Our friends are leaving the beach, which will leave the beach quite deserted, which will be quite good, because you can get quite close into that beach then. So the first thing we need to do is what's called flake your line. So I've actually just put the line through this hole. There's nowhere else to attach it to, quite frankly. I didn't want to take the main sheet of the boat off there, and I've just attached it here onto one of the jib cleats just to secure it. And then what I've done is I've flaked this out. So what it means is you just run the line backwards and forwards, so you know when the line's going to get pulled out, nothing's going to get caught. If you're on a bigger boat, you know, you could get a person or a person's ankle caught in that, and they could go over. So you have to be very careful and flake the line out. Ready? Wow, look at these. Doing here. Well, anyway, back to anchor training. So you would normally secure the anchor up here, and then you would have a tie it here. And the reason for that is that this is where you want the anchor to set and have the force when it's, you know, setting into the bottom of the ocean or the lake. But if it somehow gets stuck or caught, now it could get caught around a cable, a log, just something, a rock, a big rock, and you can't get it off, then what you can then do is pull it hard, and the tie it will snap off here, and then you'll see that the anchor will then be lifted and scooped back. So it's a good savvy thing to do, especially if you're seafaring, because otherwise you could lose your anchor. You might have no choice but to cut your anchor loose. So we're going to put the boat in neutral. We're going to put the anchor over the back, trying not to damage the boat. There we go. And then we're just going to let that go till we feel it hit the floor. And I think it's just hit because I've just felt it go a bit slack there. Look, I always use this shroud and I kind of try and see if we're drifting with that shroud. And as you can see, we are not drifting anymore. That's crazy. So that anchor seems to have taken, and you can actually see, because the anchor is on that side of the stern, you can actually see when it bites, it pulls the boat round and you can see the shroud move that way. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding. We're, what, 20 metres is that maybe from shore? And we haven't moved. We'd have hit there in 30 seconds maximum, we'd have hit the bottom. Now, because we've got the anchor off the stern, it's slightly different to bring the anchor up. In reality, if I wanted to bring this anchor up just by pulling it, I could, because it's a tiny little anchor. You know, it's like a 5 kilo anchor. And I'd probably just pull it out the stone or the rock it's caught on right now. But what you should do is you should look over the side of the boat and see where that chain is going. And you can just see the rope there, and it has got a good angle on it actually. So I can see the rope is going down there. Now what you should really do is reverse the boat if you can, a little bit, until, well, that's what we're going to do now, until you see that rope go a little bit more vertical. Can we see? Like that. Now it's hard to do on your own. And now look, we've got slack, and then we can pull it up, and I can feel that come off the bottom of the bed already. And then you just pull it up. Sorry for doing, I've only got one hand to do this. And let's see, can we start to see the anchor yet? Now I know that anchor is off the bed, so now once that's happened, you can just pull it up. But what you want to make sure of is it's not underneath the boat. There we go, there's the chain there. So the anchor's up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to just put the camera down because I can't pull the chain or the anchor out through this hole. I need 2 hands for that. Here's the first time I've seen the little train this season. We'll have to give it a little courtesy wave. There it is in all its glory. I think there's a few more coaches been put onto that. Give them a wave. Still a bit cold. So we're just heading to the other side of the lake. We've actually been over there in this little bay round there, and we're heading to the other side of the lake. I know this side of the water tends to be a bit shallower, so we're going to motor over here. So got to be very careful here. You can see there's a bit of a piece of wood sticking up there with a, I think that's an electric fence for the keep the cattle in. We're quite close to shore, as you can see. We're no more than, say, 20-25 meters away, and this is the shore here, this shoreline here, that I think would be brilliant for us to test on. So I'm actually motoring into this. We're almost motoring into the wind directly now. Whoa! I've got the outboard, as you can see, look, on its kind of anti-collision thing. So if we do hit something at the bottom, we can switch the propeller off quick, sharp, and it's not the end of the world. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but we can see the bottom here. So I'm just going to position the boat a little bit better, being really careful. Oh yeah, this is quite shallow here. So the first thing we'll do, let's switch the boat off, let's see what happens Let's see what happens. Okay, that's as close as I dare go. I think we might even hit the bottom. So look, let's get the anchor out. Just try not to hit the side of the boat with that. Now you can see that anchor's now on the floor. And there we go. The rope is actually going to flake itself out this time. Now you need to guide it, but I'm just going to keep the camera on here and just show you how the boat is drifting. Now you can as well use your engine to sort of pull the anchor if you want. And there we go, look, the anchor's gone tight. You can see the boat suddenly turn actually. So the anchor's definitely bitten there. And now it's just a case of sitting and waiting. So we can see now that that line is nice and tight. It's just gone slack because I've actually walked to the back of the boat, which has probably pulled the boat back a bit, but we haven't moved at all. So I was actually taking this reference point here. If I sit here, look at the shroud again, there's another weird kind of wooden structure there, and we are sort of bouncing about as the road gets a bit of tension. It flicks the boat to the left a little bit, and then as the boat just gets used to that, the shroud comes around a little bit more. So it's actually flicking between these trees. That's about the leftmost it goes, and this little structure here is about the as right as the shroud gets. Actually, you're seeing a slightly different angle from me, I guess. There you go, we're just bouncing. And if you look, there's these two trees together, mother and daughter, and we just sat here, we're not moving at all. So number one, that's how you anchor. Number two, I'm really chuffed this spruce anchor works really well, especially in the rocks here. So yeah, really chuffed with that. So actually I just thought I'd show you this video. I was just pulling the anchor in, and actually what I was doing was pulling the boat back. The anchor's set so well, but because we're in, I mean, we are in what, I'd say, I can get caught out here, but I'd say no more than a metre of water at most. And you can actually see the chain is almost along the floor. There's the anchor there, and here's the road here, and I've just tied the road off. So we're actually anchored and set with that like that. And you can see if I pull this a little bit, the anchor doesn't move, but the boat moves back onto the anchor. And then as we let the boat then drift, there we go, the road's going out, and you can see, oh my god, I nearly fell over. Now let's see what that looks like underwater. So hopefully we saw the anchor set there. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So I'm now going to try and anchor us right to shore, because I would step out here, but the water can be deceiving, and I don't fancy being up to my waist in water, in super freezing cold water today. I'm in about 6 inches of water, which is about where the boat will sit. I think we're going to take the anchor and we're just going to put it in there. Let's see what happens. Gosh, there's like hardly any topsoil in Lake Bala. There we go. It's amazing how much hold the rope and the chain actually gives it. As you can see, it's almost slack here. Look, but actually the boat is catching on these bigger rocks, and it's actually forming. If you feel here, look, it's taut there. Oh, I've just moved it. want to try and get it to just move off those rocks. I think what I'll do now, I've got the boat into shore, I'm going to have a spot to lunch. I'm going to have a spot of lunch, and I'm going to try and get this anchor rod attached to the bow, and then we're going to anchor from the bow, which I think should be easier in terms of the way the boat will drift, but we'll find out, won't we? Oh, what's that down there? Weird, crazy silk. I have no idea what that is. Here we go, and I'm just going to stick the anchor like that. I've not even dug it in, so, and then let's just give the boat a little bit of help, just to push it out a little. There we go. There's the boat going out, so you can see how the boat's drifting out that way now, and there you go, anchors nice and tight there, and there you go, and you can see it turn to the left as it, because the anchor rod is coming out that left hole on the stern, and it should just bob between there. You can see it twisting now. And then when I want the boat, I can just pull on the anchor rod and bring it in. Awesome. Today I've got sandwiches. I do love this lovely bread I get locally, and I've got a hot cross bun. So I'm not quite sure which countries in the world celebrate Easter and have hot cross buns, but in the UK we celebrate Easter by eating hot cross buns. They're like sweet doughy bread with raisins in them, and various supermarkets have taken to their own versions like salted caramel and chocolate chip and all sorts. But for dinner today, cheese and ketchup and ham sandwiches. To be honest with you, it's probably my favourite food, so that's nice. I also wanted to show you these. These are my new binoculars. They're actually not new, I got them second hand. And they're pretty new though. They're 8 by 25, so they say for sailing you need 7 by whatever it is. The first number is the magnification, the second number is the size of the lens, or you know, so for proper yacht you'd have 8, maybe 7 by 50, which would look like those proper big binoculars that, you know, people use. For me, I can't really store those on the boat, so I've got these miniature ones, but they are made by Bushnell, who are a really good manufacturer of binoculars is the word I'm looking for, and these are also fully waterproof. They don't float, but you can get a floating strap, so that's, you know, I think if I was to go offshore in the sea or anything, I would definitely do that. And they magnify just enough that you can see stuff far away, like, you know, numbers on buoys, and you know, if there's any issues, anything in the water, things like that. But they're also not magnifying enough that you've got quite a wide scope of view. So I think that's why you don't have like quite high powered ones for marine usage, because you need to have a wide point of view. And the other thing is because, you know, the boat's moving like this half the time, then, you know, if you had if they were too magnifying, you wouldn't be able to find anything in them. So these are perfect, they're brilliant. That's lunch done. Boat's just sat here, good as gold. You can see the anchor just nice and tight behind there, and then the chain and the rod has gone all the way along the bed almost, and then just comes up nicely here. That's awesome. So if I wanted to, I could grab that chain, bring the boat in, but it's actually so shallow here, I'm going to just wade out, maybe just pull it a little bit to me. So I've taken the anchor up, and you can actually see how quickly the boat drifts. If I just push it over here and then just let that be stationary like that, and then you can just see it drifts quite quickly once it gets going. There we go. And there she goes. You could see that the anchor was definitely doing its job. And there's my, look, the boat is now going over there. I better grab it before it goes. So anyway, I'm gonna hook the anchor up to the front here. So I've done a quick bow line, hooked it over the carabiner. It'll be fine. I'm sure that's gonna be okay like that. Might be better if we get that hooked through there, not on the jib. So this will be brilliant. We can actually anchor right here off the bow. So let's do that. So I'm just flaking the line out, and I'm going to get the anchor, and then we drop it over the side, because we can't get to the bow of this boat. I probably could in these conditions, but actually when I did my powerboat level 2 training, you dropped it over the side of the rib, and then what you did was you walked the road around to the front. So the boat's just going to drift out. As you can see, the road is going out. Just checking it's not flaked brilliantly, but there we go. And then what we'll see is we'll see the boat kind of wanting to turn its stern to the wind, which we're doing. But now look, oh, look at this. Now as the anchor's bit, we've now got our bow coming round. Look at this. This is just like a real boat. Not that Mochyn D is not a real boat, but there we go. Let's just let her settle. I've realised that this claw anchor sets brilliantly in these pebbles. It just needs one little pebble, and of course mirror dinghy is so small and light that it doesn't take much to stop the stop the dinghy from drifting off. Excuse me. So there we have it. There it is. There's the anchor. Now, how do we get this anchor in? Now it's at the bow. Well, I'm going to do it the same way, or the reverse way, as I did it before. So let's get the anchor rode. Now we could do this with the motor, but I'm not going to do it with the motor. Let's get the boat broadside, just using the paddle. And look, I'm just using one hand here, and all we're going to do is we're going to almost trip over the anchor rode like this. Now I can actually get the boat hook, which is exactly what this is for. Oh, it's a stretch. There we go. And we can bring this back round to the side of the boat. There we go. So I've got hold of the anchor rode, and then all I'm going to do, this would be a lot easier if I didn't have to hold the camera in one hand. But here we go. Just going to pull the boat in, and as we get closer and closer, it'll just come up to the port side of the boat where we've just launched from, because this is where I am pulling the anchor rode in. There you go. We can have a good look at the anchor because it's quite shallow here, and you can see, look, there it is. That's all it needed to dig in. And as we get close, we can tip the anchor up, and it should come without any fuss at all. I'm just going to pop that on the bag because the last thing we need is an anchor clattering through the boards on the boat. There we go. And that's how you set and unset your anchor on a dinghy. We're at marker G, and that indicates the beginning of the sort of race markers, the north end of the lake. So I'm going to go into shore here somewhere, but this time we're going to use this Danforth anchor, if for no other reason that it's got a whole load more road on it. I'm going to try and see if we can anchor a lot further out. I'm going to do it off the stern again, because I'm not bothered about bringing the boat about. I just want to see if the anchor works. So let's try it out. So here we are. I'd say we're about 40-50 meters off the shore here. I'm just going to remove the tiller extension, and we're going to get this Danforth out, and we're going to see if we can anchor here. Okay, so I've got it all ready. It's very hard to flake this amount of rope out, but I'm pretty sure it's not tangled up. So you can see we are drifting slightly into the shore, but I'm going to drop the anchor here. It should be deep enough. So again, we're very careful with this. It'll be interesting to see how this one holds. Just want to be careful with the chain that we don't damage the side of the boat. Right, there we go. Now, let's see. You can see how you need to have this flaked out, because that will drop like a rock, look, if you let it. Wow, that's quite a lot gone already. Look at this. What you don't want to do is see something gets trapped and, you know, catches the side of the boat, you know, because it could capsize the boat. We are still going. I cannot believe how, I think that's 30 meters. Aha, there we go, we've hit the bottom. So what you should do on your road is put some little markers. A lot of people use just tie-its, and then what they do is they will, I'm just going to put this around the back here, and I'm just going to tie it off on the motor there. We're very careful, mindful of this, so I can release that quite quickly if I need to. So what they do is they will put, what people do is put little tie-its at 10 meters, 20 meters, so they do 2 at 20, 3 at 30, 4 at 40. That should be enough for a dinghy. And then even in the dark, as you're feeding the line out, or the road out, you can feel those marks go through, so you don't even need to see them. I am shocked at how deep Lake Bala is so close to shore. That's quite remarkable. Now, I'm going to take a point off my, it's actually my starboard bow, but I'm sitting backwards. I mean, we've got that lamppost. I don't know if you can see, there's like a lamppost there, and then to the left of it, it's like quite a light green fir tree. We are pretty much in line with that light green fern tree, and then if we look to the port beam, sorry, there's not an awful lot to get something off there. There's 4 trees over there halfway up the hill, so we're in line with those 4 trees and that green tree there. So let's see where we are in about 5 minutes time. So here we are. We're at least 5 minutes, we're actually more. I've tidied up my other anchor, and we can see, actually can see the line a lot better here. You can see that line's going right down. You can see it's taut and not taut, so it's definitely catching on the ground, but it's there's enough road out to keep us fast. We should be drifting that way, and actually there's the green tree, and there are the 4 trees over there. Don't know if you can see, I think back there it's always a bit different on the camera. We haven't moved an inch. So what I've got to look forward to now is pulling up about, I'm sure this line is 40 meters of line by hand, which would be good fun. So I'll do that now. and then I think we'll be on our way back to base, where we will probably do a few projects. That's a lot of road to pull up. I didn't want any to touch the side of the boat and rub all the paint or the varnish or damage the wood, so it's quite hard holding it out, because you see 5 kilos up that much depth is quite hard work, I can tell you. That was successful. So I've literally just pulled it up. We've been about 30 seconds and already, look, you can see the green trees definitely not here, and you can actually see us drifting quite quickly now. So that Danforth anchor passed the test as well. Obviously it works on the bottom here on the stones, so I've got a lot of fun to gather all that road back up. We'll make our way back to the to base now, and then we'll see if there's anyone sailing. Again, just to show you, look how far we've drifted now. That's been 2 minutes, and we've drifted, yeah, 30-40 meters. Hi there, so I found this really brilliant website actually, which shows charted depths of loads of sort of inland lakes and even rivers, I think. And it's up here, fishing-app.gpsnauticalcharts.com. I'll put the link in the description of the video as well. And this is Lake Bala, and I just wanted to show you how the depths of Lake Bala work. Let's just remove that. You can see this was where we, it was actually just here where we were anchoring originally. It was about here. So you can see that very, very quickly the depth gets quite deep. And, you know, we were floating around here, here. And then, you know, within that distance there is roughly almost about 15 meters, and it drops from 2 to 10 meters very quickly, and that's why we ran out of anchor road quite quickly on the first anchoring. We then came down here, and you can see how the lake is a lot shallower when you get in here, and we were actually playing around a lot around here in the second anchoring position, which was nice. It was a lot easier to anchor there. And then in the third anchor place where we tested the Danforth anchor out, we were roughly here. So you can see that there's a nice vein here, but that's actually only, let's try and, I think this is a measurement tool here. That's only, yeah, like, I think that's 10 meters. And we were a little bit further than 10 meters from shore in that case. So you could see that I think I had 30 or 40 meters of road. I think it was 30 actually. And you can see how quickly we'd run out of anchor road in terms of distance from the lake. You can see how, yeah, deep the lake really is. You know, 35 meters I think at its deepest point. And then at the north of the lake, this is where Bala Sailing Club is. You can see how much shallower it is here. So if you want to ever do anything, you know, like practicing with your boat, this is a nice place where you can actually stand up in the water. And then my mooring, I think, is around here. Or is it here? Somewhere around here. You can see there's a nice little shallow bay almost there. So I just thought I'd show you that, just to help you to see the you know, the places that we were anchoring in today in this video.